All right, y'all, well, welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 3 of my top 500 songs of all time series. I'm excited to be back doing this. If you don't know me, my name is Jackson. I absolutely love discussing music with you all, discovering more music, the whole 9 yards. So hopefully that's what you enjoy too and you'll stick around. Today we are diving to the next 20 songs that are on my list. Those will be songs 450 to 431. And if you missed the first 2 parts, make sure you check those out before watching this one. Part 1 has all the rules of this list. Part 2 has the previous songs we went over, so you'll have already missed 50 songs plus the rules. Make sure you check those out. It'll give a lot of good context to this list and to what we're doing here. So, regardless of that, if you're here for the next 20, let's get into the next 20 songs. Starting with number 450, we've got a really iconic track that is Bittersweet Symphony by the Verve. That was released in 1997. It is the only song from the Verve to hit the list. A lot of people call this song one of the most iconic one-hit wonder tracks of all time, and it's iconic for a reason. So I didn't really realize before doing my research for this video, but there was actually a lot of controversy with this song. There were a lot of copyright issues and a big dispute. I'm not qualified enough to talk on whether or not that was warranted, but it's an interesting fact about the song. Regardless, I think this is, from an objective standpoint, one of the best songs ever. Plenty of people would have this in their top 500. Many people might even have it in their top 100 songs of all time, just depending on how you did the list. But it's going to make the list because of that, because of how absolutely fantastic it is. But it's just so enjoyable. The vocals are great. The strings, the intro, it all makes for such a cinematic feel. And I think that's why people love it so much. It feels like a movie song almost. It's pretty impressive. Next up, number 449 is 21st Century Schizoid Man by King Crimson. It was released in 1969. It is the only King Crimson song to make this. Speaking of copyright disputes, this one has a pretty famous one. If you're a Kanye West fan, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you've been around this channel at all, or if you've been around any of my other socials at all, you would know that I'm really not a metal fan in the slightest. In fact, I have a pretty big distaste for metal. I've tried it out. It doesn't work for me. I continue to try it out, and it just doesn't work for me. But regardless, this song is about as close as we'll get on this list to a heavy metal track. A lot of people consider this a really early genre-defining track for heavy metal, or at the very least, it was forming that genre. This, and of course, you've got like Helter Skelter from the Beatles. This is one of those tracks that people point to and say, wow, you can really see heavy metal forming. And as an early prog rock track as well, I think it just doesn't get much better from both the band and that time period. I mean, if you'd have told me this was from 1969 when I first listened to it, I don't think I would have believed you. It's pretty insane how it sounds. The vocals are, of course, awesome, and the vocal effects are really neat. And again, when you compare it to anything from the time period, you've got something really, really unique here. As a big Beatles fan, it's hard not to feel the influences of what they were doing coming out here, and that's just another reason that I love this. Next up, number 448 is Something's Gotta Give by Ella Fitzgerald, released in 1964, and it is one of 3 songs to make the list. So Fitzgerald has the maximum of 3 tracks that are going to be on this list. Now look, I'm a big fan of Ella Fitzgerald. I absolutely love her voice, and I just love just about all of the songs that she's in. She really makes them her own, which is a really neat thing. And this is one of those. This is her take on the Johnny Mercer track, Something's Gotta Give, and it's really, really endearing. It's got a really nice energy. It's really almost upbeat and positive, despite maybe what the song is about. Maybe you could say it's an upbeat song, but I wouldn't necessarily say that. But altogether, it's a really enjoyable track. She's having a lot of fun, and the backing track absolutely supports her in a really great way, but you can tell she's really making it her own, which is really special and something that I think she's known for. Next up, number 447 is Holly Holy by Neil Diamond. another song released in 1969, and it is the only song from Neil Diamond to make this list. So sorry for you Sweet Caroline fans out there. It did not make this list. Now, last time I did my top 500 songs list, Neil Diamond actually didn't have any songs make the list, which is kind of surprising to me. I listened to a good bit of his music and enjoy it fairly enough, but not enough for it to have made the list then. Honestly, I'm surprised this one made the list, but it's hard for me really not to include it, and for really one reason in particular, and that is the build. The build that happens in this song from really start to finish is really something special. It's really spectacular. From the start, you've just got a few instruments that are hardly making any noise, and of course, Diamond's vocals. But by the end of the song, production has completely exploded. There's so much going on that it's really amazing. And of course, the gospel elements here are really, really enjoyable. Any song that incorporates a sort of choir feel and a gospel feel is going to be pretty special to me. We'll see that throughout this list as well. But I think what really surprised me most in looking into this song is just how popular it was when it first released. It charted super high. I think it maybe number 6 on the US Billboard. I'll double check myself, but it charted super high. And if you go listen to this song, you might be a little surprised as well. This just doesn't seem like it would be that popular of a song, but it was. Next up, number 446 is The Rubber Band Man by the Spinners, released in 1976. It is the only song from the Spinners to make this list. Now, this song is just really fun, really high energy, and it's really hard not to like. That's completely why it made this list. It's got such a full sound. Like, there's so much going on in production, and you can really feel it, especially if you're listening with headphones or with loudspeakers. And that's a really hard thing to come by. I've found, having listened to lots and lots of music, having a real full sound in production is hard to come by. Or at the very least, it's very easy not to have a full sound. It's very easy to get a little maybe lazy with the production. And I've noticed that I end up really enjoying songs and albums that have a full feel, especially compared to songs that feel a little empty from a production standpoint. I almost always hate those songs. So with that said, this song does that masterfully. The production is fantastic, the sound is fantastic, the energy is great. All around, this is a hard song not to like. Number 445 is Brain Stew by Green Day, released in 1995. It is the only Green Day song to make this list. Now, I don't care for Green Day. That's why this is the only song to make this list. But this is the one exception. Typically, I just don't rock with that sort of modern punk, grunge. Well, it wouldn't be modern by today's standards, but then it was modern. I just don't vibe with it like that, especially not Green Day. I just never liked them all that much. But regardless, this song, the guitar is great, and it's really simple, yet really, really, really effective. And that is something that really stands out to me. Something so simple, it's just a couple notes being played, but it leads the song so well, and it plays really, really well. So it's a neat concept too, all around. Hard not to like this song as well. Number 444 is A-Punk by Vampire Weekend, released in 2008, and the only Vampire Weekend song to make this list. The opening of this track is probably one of the most recognizable and iconic song openings of all time at this point, especially with TikTok and Instagram and the rise of those things. It's become really synonymous with like summer movies or feel-good montages in those movies. At least that's what I've seen from it. And that's great. I think it's awesome that it gets that sort of attention. But at the same time, I hate the other effect of that, which is it kind of undermines the rest of the song. It's like almost saying, oh, this song's only good for the intro. The intro feels good. This song is great all around, from start to finish. It's really, really fantastic. It's so much more than an intro. And hopefully, if you go and listen to this, you don't skip past it after the intro ends. That would be a shame. Number 443 is Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan, released in 1965, and one of 2 songs that Dylan has on this list. Now, historically speaking, I haven't been a huge fan of Bob Dylan, especially in my younger days when I was really getting into older music like the Beatles and Beach Boys. Dylan was one of those artists that I just really couldn't sink my teeth into. But in recent years, I've definitely come around more to his music. Part of, I think, what stopped me from getting into him were his vocals, but I've come around to that more, especially as my palette has kind of expanded there. On the other hand, though, this track has always been one that I've enjoyed. The production is really great, and it's kind of unusual for him, especially given he's usually a little more stripped down in his production. This is absolutely not that, and his vocals are really bearable here. So if you have stayed away from Bob Dylan's music because of his vocals, like I used to, this would be a good track to kind of get you into his music and give you a feel for what he can do. It really works for me, and it's more than enough for it to earn a spot here on this list. Number 442 is Crazy on You by Heart, released in 1976, and it is the only Heart song to make this list. I used to be a little more into Heart in my younger days. I never did a super deep dive into their discography, but a lot of their hits or bigger songs I would listen to pretty often. I don't do that so much anymore, but this song is still great and deserves a spot here. This is another great intro. We've talked a lot about intros on this stretch of the list, and this is another one. The guitar is awesome, but again, like before, this song is a lot more than just a really awesome intro. The electric guitar is really strong. The vocal performances are insane and perfectly match what they're doing with the instrumentation going on. So it's a really fun, really great, high energy track that absolutely deserves its spot. Number 441 is This Love by Maroon 5, released in 2004, and the only Maroon 5 song to earn a spot on this list. This is definitely one of the earliest songs that I can remember hearing on the radio, which is pretty neat. But also, if you ask me, I think this is one of the best pop songs ever. I think this would have to be at least in the top 50 pop songs of all time. The vocals are perfect, the guitar is perfect, and it is so catchy. The production is awesome. This song, and really this album, is so awesome. With that said, it's a shame what the band did become after they got big and the song went big and their popularity sort of exploded, but it doesn't take away from what this album was and is and what this song is. So it absolutely deserves its spot here. Number 440 is Rocky Mountain High by John Denver. It was released in 1972, and it is one of two songs from Denver to make the list. Now, if I had made this list after our most recent trip to Colorado, this song definitely would have been higher. Driving through the Rockies while listening to this track was different. It gave me a real new love for this track. Even still, it ends up on this list because it's just a really beautifully made folk track. Denver's vocals just suit the gentle vibe he's going for perfectly. And there's a really neat story being told as well. It's fantastic. It's one of his better songs, easily. Next up is number 439, and that is Collage, with a K, by Carly Rae Jepsen, released in 2023, and it is the only song from Jepsen to make the list. Now, this album might not have lived up to the extremely high standards that the artist had set with her previous releases. I wouldn't argue that it did. I think most people would agree there. However, there were still some gems on that album, and this is easily one of them. The synth is fantastic, and the vocals match the really atmospheric track that she crafted here. It's really, really nice song. Number 438 is MacArthur Park by Richard Harris, released in 1968. The only Richard Harris song to make this list. Now, this song is a genuine trip in every sense of the term. It definitely feels like a product of its time. It feels like a song from the 60s, which isn't always a good thing, right? Like if I'm listening to older music and it feels like older music, that could make me dislike it a little more. However, in this case, it really, really works. There's a little bit of a graininess to the recording quality that is honestly kind of nice. And like I mentioned earlier, this song's a trip. It's like 7 minutes long. I think it's over 7 minutes long, actually. And there's so much energy, but it changes and it ebbs and flows. It's a long song, but it's worth every minute. 437 is Easy Living by Billie Holiday, released in 1937, and the only Billie Holiday song to make this list. Many of my other favorite jazz artists have recorded their version of this song, and I really enjoy those versions as well. But this, to me, will always be the essential version of Easy Living. Her voice was pretty much made for this track, and it's so stripped down, but it just works. It works really well, and it's convincing too. It convinces me that living for whoever she's living is easy. Number 436 is By and By Camp, released in 2019, and the only Camp song to make this list. This is the title track from Camp's debut, and this indie country folk song is really about as good as it gets within the genre, and I really mean that. The lead and backing vocals are perfect on this track, and it's got this really nice blend of sounds from both country and folk conventions that make it really, really nice to listen to. It's really well produced, and it is easily my favorite track from the band. Number 435 is I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire by the Ink Spots, released in 1941, and it is one of two songs from the Ink Spots to make this list. Just like MacArthur Park, this song has a really grainy feel, and actually I would say it's much grainier than MacArthur Park was. But again, it works. It works really, really well. The vocals are perfect, they're eerie, and it's a really great slow track. It just, all around it works. I don't know if they intended it to be that grainy, they probably didn't, but it works. Number 434 is Lonesome and Mad by Under the Rug, released in 2022. And the only song from Under the Rug to make the list. This is another indie folk or country track, depending on who you ask. And yet again, we've got another really great and attention-grabbing intro here. This one is set apart from the rest that I've talked about, though, because the intro here is a solo vocal performance, and it's fantastic. I mean, the opening vocals here are really powerful and really set the tone for this song perfectly. It's a really, really nice indie gem that I don't always see people talking about. I just happened to stumble upon it a few years back when it was released, and I just haven't stopped loving it since then. Number 433 is Say You Love Me by Fleetwood Mac, released in 1976. One of three songs from Fleetwood Mac, so the band has their maximum of three that make this list. And I just really enjoy this song. If you ask me, and if you ask anybody, I think if we look at it from an objective perspective, this probably isn't a top 3 Fleetwood Mac song. It might not even be a top 5 Fleetwood Mac song. It might not even be a top 10. But on the other hand, it is my third favorite. So subjectively speaking, I really enjoy it, and that's why it's here. It's catchy, the vocal harmonies are great, and I've just really always loved it. I can remember listening to this at a young age. I don't remember where or doing what, but I can remember listening to this and loving it. And that, of course, earns it some points. Number 432 is Drive by The Cars, released in 1984. The second of two songs from The Cars to make this list. Now, this is the top song from the band here, and I've really come to love this song over the years, especially since making this list last time. If I'm correct, it didn't make it at all last time I did my top 500. It's a ballad, which when I think of popular songs from The Cars, I don't really think ballads. I think of that first album, which was just kind of high energy, new wave, synth rock, and this totally isn't that. But I think more surprising is how popular this song actually is just in general. This song is easily the band's most popular, at least when it was released it was, and that's crazy to me. It's just so different from all their other popular tunes, and that's just is so interesting to me. It's so different, but it works so well, and it's really, really special when you look at the band's discography as a whole. So it kind of makes sense, but it's still an interesting thing to me. I love it. It's really, really, really nice track. All right, last one for today. Wrapping it up with number 431, an iconic track, a track that maybe would have been much higher a few years back, and that is Money for Nothing by Dire Straits, released in 1985. the only song from Dire Straits to make this list. So listen, this is a song about microwaves and TVs and refrigerators and MTVs. And yet, in my opinion, it has the greatest leading guitar riff of all time out of any song ever. The song is silly, but the guitar here is unbelievable. Again, if you ask me, maybe this is a controversial statement. I'm sure there are plenty of people who would disagree with me. But if you ask me, the guitar here is some of the best guitar in any song ever and the best guitar riff of all time. That's the hill I'll die on. So anyway, the guitar is more than enough for it to earn its spot here. It's a fine song, but the guitar sets it apart from everything. All right, y'all. Well, that wraps up this stretch of the list. If you're keeping up with the list via playlist, it'll be updated a few days after this video drops. And if you want to keep up with this list via playlist, check out the links in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked this video and this stretch of the list. And let me know what you think of this part of it. Were any songs too high or too low? Make sure you let me know in the comments down below and come back next time.